So it's tough to say where your player housing is in the world and then everyone has a player house in the world. I would personally love to see that, where you have, 1,000 players in Demacia right now and each of them have a house, like a place in Demacia. I think that's awesome.
I agree. Like I
But
said
then,
before, I still think Final Fantasy 14 did that perfectly. Limited housing.
yeah,
People have to fight for it. You can sell your home to someone else, sell that plot of land that you own. I think it's so cool how they did it in that game. Like I would not change
yeah.
anything about how they did that.
So that's how you would. So the way I was going was like maybe you could have a housing that's kind of mobile in a sense. Like maybe it's something that isn't just this stagnant place that, like the ship, right? The ship's flying around.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we could think of something in Runeterra that's in a similar sense, where your house isn't taking up space when you're offline, but it's there always when you're online and moves around in a sense. But at the same time, the only way I could think of it is using like Yordle pathways to have a home in some place in the spirit realm, and that's just too much of a stretch. So maybe maybe that is the right move.
I personally
your Final
like
Fantasy strategy.
Yeah, dude. I like having that sense of commitment. Like, you live in Demacia. That's your home. You built your house in Demacia. So you live in Demacia. Like you can be from the Freljord, have your home in Shurima. You know? That just means you started off in the Freljord, now your home is Shurima. That's where you built your house. I really like that. That sense of it just adds more to your RP, I think. To your character, some depth in terms of what you call home. I like that idea personally, rather than just
I'm with you on that.
Just traveling everywhere with your home on your back. I mean, I guess that could also be an option. You could have both. Maybe your traveling home just is not as big if you choose to go that route. But I personally just like the stationary home more.
Man, I do think that you need to have player housing. It has to be a thing, and you have to be able to show it off. Yeah.
It just adds so much customization. It adds so many more things to go out and get in the open world and instance content, and literally every form of content. You can tie player housing into it. I always think of killing a raid boss and mounting his head on your wall. I still think that's one of the coolest ideas ever. And just, I don't know, there's a billion things
I'm with you
with
on
player
that.
housing. It opens so much it adds value to every piece of content. And it just adds so much more to do. I love it. It's always good in any MMO regardless.
That's a must. 100% that's a must. I feel like Final Fantasy's direction is the way that they will end up going. And it's between either, for me, it's either that or actual player housing that's not even instanced like it's there. Like, you know how you guys have different instances of you walk in as a player housing area that's instanced?
Yeah.
They could do that and have one for, each place, like one for Demacia, one for Noxus, one for Shurima. Or they could actually have it in the world. Those are the only two options I can see.
Wow. But the problem is if they actually have it in the world, housing would become a serious issue. Because this is a Riot MMO. Someone's going to be popping, especially at the beginning. So, I hope Demacia does not end up becoming 100,000 square feet long. Just to fill up all these homes. There's always the apartments too, and I like that. The apartments are instance. Yeah, you go up to your room.
The apartments being instance is good too.
Yeah, I love
you can't make it so big that it's impossible to travel. So I understand that. But you want the running to be slow and you want travel to be slow, but then if you make it too big, you have to increase travel because no one's gonna spend the day just running to the other side of Demacia.
Yeah, exactly. Just because the residential district is 1 billion houses.